Welcome back, students. Now in this second part we are going to study the potential due to a point charge, and to study that we will see one arrangement which is given in figure 1b. Okay, so here you can see at a point A one charge Q is there. This capital Q charge is our source charge. Okay, from this charge at a distance r, one point B is there. At point B, we have to find out the potential due to this point charge. Okay, so due to this point charge, this source charge, we have to find out the potential at point B. For that, what we will do? We will take one test charge in infinity. Okay, one test charge we will take which is situated at infinity, and we will try to figure out the work done in moving this test charge from infinity to point B. Okay, when we will find out the work done in moving it from infinity to point B, that amount of work done will be equal to the potential at point B due to a charge at point A. Okay, and to do so, first we will do the same thing which we are doing till now. First we will find out the work, a small work for moving the test charge for a very small distance, and then we will integrate that work for the whole distance. Okay, so first what we will do, we will try to figure out the amount of work done in moving the charge particle from point M to point N. Okay, so from N to N, suppose the distance between them is dx, a very small distance, and point M is situated at a distance x from point A where the source charge is located. So I hope you all have understood the diagram and what we are going to find out. So we are first going to find out the amount of work done in moving the charge particle from point M to N for a very small distance. Then we will integrate that work to find out the amount of work done in moving the test charge from infinity to point B. Okay, so first we have already discussed that the force of whatever force is there between this charge capital Q and Q naught, this is the repulsive force. Why? Because both the charges we have taken as positive, so they both are same charges, so they repel each other. Okay, so force of repulsion on the test charge Q naught, and also we have discussed that test charge is unity, so its value is 1 coulomb. So the force of repulsion on test charge Q naught by charge Q is given by, from Coulomb's law, it is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q naught Q upon x square, where x is the distance between Q and Q naught. In diagram, don't be confused that Q naught is at distance of infinity, because right now we are finding out the value of moving the charge from M to N. So when the charge particle we suppose is situated at M, so its distance from Q is x. So that's why we have written x square here. Okay, then because Q naught's value is 1, when we put 1 here we get this one. F equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon x square. This is the force, okay, which is between Q and Q naught, which is situated at point M. Now what is formula of work? Formula of work is force into displacement. So force we have derived here, and what is the displacement between N and M? Displacement is dx. So what will be the amount of work? in moving the test charge from M to N. That will be W equals to dW equals to Fe into dx. So here you can see dW, this small amount of work, equals to Fe into dx. Now here force and distance, they both are, sorry, it is displacement, they both are vector quantity. When we remove this vector symbol, one negative sign will come here. Why negative sign will be here? Because the force is repulsive. The nature of force is repulsive. That's why negative sign is there. Now by putting the value of Fe, we get this equation. Okay. And this is the amount of work done in moving the test charge for a very small distance. Now suppose we have to move the charge from infinity to a distance r from Q. In figure you can see Q naught is at a distance of infinity from Q and we are moving it till a distance r. Okay, B is at a distance r from Q. So from infinity to r. So to find out the total work done, what we will do? We will integrate this quantity from infinity to r. So in the course of integrating them, the constants will come out. So Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught, these all are constants, so it will come out. And we will integrate only 1 upon x square. 1 upon x square can be written as x to the power minus 2. And students, in class 11th, I have told you how to integrate. Okay. So by integrating this one, x to the power minus 2, we will get this 1 upon x. And here is the limit, infinity to r. R is the upper limit, infinity is the lower limit. And after integration, how to solve limit? We put the value of upper limit in the place of variable here, minus, then we put the value of lower limit in place of variable here. So here we will put 1 upon r minus 1 upon infinity. Since 1 upon infinity is 0, so this term will be 0. Okay, one thing I want to tell you that when we integrate x to the power minus 2, the answer will be minus 1 upon x. So here this minus and this minus, they both will cancel out each other. So here now our term is positive. Okay. So from infinity to r, when we apply it, the formula of upper limit and lower limit, we get this equation. Because 1 upon infinity becomes 0, so only r will left. So we will get this equation. And this is the amount of work done, which is equals to the potential at B due to charge Q. So here is the formula of potential. V equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R. From this equation, it is clear that V, the potential, depends on distance. How? It is inversely proportional to distance. See, Q is a constant, 4 pi epsilon naught, they all are constant. When we remove all the constants, so what will be the relation between V and R? The relation will be that V is inversely proportional to R. That means as the distance will increase, the potential difference will decrease. Okay. As the distance will increase, the potential difference will as the distance will increase, the potential will decrease. So one more thing is there, that variation of potential V and electric field E due to a point charge as a function of distance r from a point charge is shown in this figure. Why we are taking electric field also with potential? Because electric field also varies with r in inverse manner. As the value of r increases, the value of E also decreases. So both potential and electric field, they are inversely proportional to r. Okay. So when we plot the graph by taking r, that is the distance, in x-axis, and potential and electric field in y-axis, we will get a declining curve. Here the dotted line represent electric field and the bold line represent potential. This is the equation for potential due to one point charge, but if not a single but many charges are working together, that time what will be the potential? Now suppose not one charge but n charges which are given by q1, q2 to qn are placed at a distance at distances r1, r2 to rn respectively from a point B. In previous case only one charge q was present around B at a distance r. Now many charges are there and distances are also different. So the total potential at point B will be the algebraic sum of the individual potentials due to different charges. So here the total potential V equals to V1 plus V2 to Vn. When we put the value of V1, V2, Vn etc., then we will find that 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught is common. So we will take it as common. So in bracket we will get Q1 upon R1 plus Q2 upon R2 to Qn upon Rn. Then this term which is in bracket can be written in summation form also. So what will be the potential due to n number of charges? It will be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught summation I equals to 1 to n Qi upon Ri. So students, this is it for today's lecture. See you in next lecture. Till then, goodbye, take care and do some productive work.